As always, the Music Tyrant welcomes you to his lair, the lair of unadulterated, supreme musical truth upon which the soul feasteth and grows in its wisdom, understanding, and appreciation of all things music. Forget what you think you know, or prepare to have it confirmed. And as always, proceed with caution. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, friends and fiends, our album of the day today is none other than 1988's Beast on My Back by the Crumbsuckers. You all know the Crumbsuckers, right? You don't? Well, let the Music Tyrant enlighten you. The Crumbsuckers were a product of the New York hardcore scene. They formed in 1982, and they released their seminal debut album, Life of Dreams, in 1986. The Crumbsuckers merged the heavy, gritty, thunderous sounds of hardcore with the technical speed and precision of thrash metal like few had ever done. And this garnered them a really strong and loyal fan base. I mean, the Crumbsuckers are really considered to be one of the premier crossover bands. When their first album came out, it had elements that few other hardcore albums had. And this really took the hardcore scene by storm. I mean, they were really hailed as the kings in a very short period of time. And if you know anything about the hardcore scene, those fans are loyal. I'm talking about loyal to the death. So that first album really put them on the map really quite quickly. However, the Crumbsuckers' first album, which is certainly worthy of its own Music Tyrant episode, is not the topic of tutelage today. So let's get on with what we came here for. Now, before we get into today's album of the day, which is the Crumbsuckers' second and final album, let me explain something that some in the encompassing world of metal don't quite understand. You see, the natural progression of any hardcore band that has any instrumental ability and any sense of musical decorum is to not just cross over from hardcore to thrash, but to become fully immersed in it. And that is exactly what we have with Beast on My Back. An all-out, no-holds-barred, technically proficient, rapid-fire thrash metal masterpiece. Did I say masterpiece? Yes, that's exactly what I said. Masterpiece. Beast on My Back is arguably the greatest thrash metal album ever recorded. But since we're not getting into arguments today, the Music Tyrant immutably declares that it is on the top 5 list greatest thrash metal albums of all time. Don't be fooled by the 2-minute 7-second intro and the opening track Breakout, because at 2 minutes and 8 seconds, all hell breaks loose. It's then at 2 minutes and 21 seconds that this album violently and jerkingly grabs you by the esophagus, taunts you with the threat of ripping it out, and never lets go until the last song, which is the title track, ends. And when it does end, when it finally does let you go, it lets you go decisively, as if to say, we know what we just did, we came to do what we just did, and we executed it exactly the way we intended to. The only reason you are only taunted with the threat of having your esophagus ripped out by the opening track is, well, the esophagus is fully ripped out as soon as the second song, Jimmy's Dream, commences. By the time the second song ends, you're beat, the game is over, and you've lost. Crumbsuckers have won. The songs I Am He, Remembering Tomorrow, and the title track, Beast on My Back, these are what thrash metal is supposed to sound like. Supposed to sound like. Supposed to sound like. Production? Check. Thunderous double bass? Check. Flesh-ripping guitar tone? Check. Face-melting guitar solos? Check. A vocal presentation way ahead of its time, the likes of which were virtually never before seen in the genre? Check. Musical precision and technicality at breakneck speed? By the bunches. People, this is a perfect album. The only problem with this album is that it's not long enough. I wish there were more songs in this thing, and you will too when you listen to it. And there you have it, our album of the day, Beast on My Back by the Crumbsuckers. Go give it a listen. The music tyrant has spoken.